Hello children, now you know that your question number 5 in essay paper is based on the biological process lesson. Under the biological process, we have to learn about several biological process. Today I have selected second process, it's human respiration. Before moving to the respiratory process, we have to know the structure of the respiratory system. It is start with the nasal cavity and oral cavity. There is a common cavity for the nasal and oral cavity. It is the pharynx. After the pharynx, there is a structure. It is called larynx. This larynx is This larynx involves to produce sound in your vocal sounds. And after the larynx, there is a structure, it is called trachea. This trachea has C shape or the incomplete circular cartilage rings, and the trachea again divided into left and right bronchus. These left and right bronchus are entered into the left and right lungs. Inside the lungs, these bronchus are again divided to form bronchioles. These bronchioles are end up with small structure, they are alveoli. Then if I take the structure again, first one is the nasal cavity, oral cavity, pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchus and bronchioles, and the last part is alveoli. If I move into the blood supply for the lung, the blood supply to the lung is carried by the pulmonary artery. This pulmonary artery consists deoxygenated blood, and the blood moves away from the lung is done by pulmonary vein. It consists oxygenated blood. Then let's move into the respiratory process. To get to know the respiratory process, we have to know 3 steps of the respiration. The respiration of the human being is done by 3 steps. First one is gas exchange between external environment and the lungs. It is also known as inspiration and expiration. The second one is gas exchange in the alveoli. The third one is cellular respiration. These are the 3 steps done when we are doing respiration. Let's move into the first step. It is the inspiration and expiration. It is also known as inhale and exhale. When we are doing inhale, you know that external air entered into the lungs. When they are entered into the lungs, they are passes through the nasal cavity first. When they are passing through the nasal cavity, the inhaled air get moisturized and warm up into the body temperature, and the foreign organisms or foreign bodies in the inhaled air get removed. You have to know what are the changes happen when doing inspiration and expiration. Most of the MCQ questions are based on that part. Let's see what are the changes happen in inspiration first. The sternum bone moves forward and the ribs moves upward. All the muscles, that means intercostal muscles, these are the intercostal muscles, and the diaphragm muscles get contracted. All the muscles get contracted. As a result of contracting diaphragm, its curvature reduces. As a result of those all process, the volume of the thoracic cavity increase. What are the process? Sternum move forward and the ribs move upward. All the muscles get contraction. When we know that if the volume increase, the pressure get decrease than the external air. Always air flows from the high pressure to lower pressure. So the air in the external environment enter into the lungs when we are doing inspiration. The reverse process is occurred when we are doing expiration. Reverse process are the sternum moves into the initial position and the ribs also move into the initial position. All the muscles get relaxed. As a result of the relaxing diaphragm muscle, its curvature increase, and as a result of all these processes, the volume get reduced and pressure get increased. The pressure inside the lungs are increased, so the gas release from lungs to external environment is occurred when we are doing expiration. Let's move into the second step of the respiration. It is gas exchange in the alveoli. We already know that the blood supply to the lung is done by pulmonary artery. This pulmonary artery get divided and supply blood to each alveoli by the capillaries. This is the capillary of pulmonary artery. And the blood carries away from the lung is done by pulmonary vein. The capillaries of the pulmonary vein is here, pulmonary vein. The pulmonary artery consists deoxygenated blood. That means the oxygen level is lower than the carbon dioxide concentration. When we are doing inhale, we know that we get oxygen, and as a result of that, the oxygen concentration in the alveoli get increased than the associated blood capillaries. As these concentration difference, the oxygen in the alveoli get diffused from alveoli to the blood, and the carbon dioxide in the capillaries diffuses into the alveoli. In here, the process of diffusion is occurred. After this diffusion, this pulmonary vein contain oxygenated blood. That means oxygen concentration is higher and the carbon dioxide concentration is lower. This is the gas exchange in the alveoli. Now you know that the gas exchange of the human being is done in the alveoli. This alveoli is considered as the respiratory surface of human being. To efficient gas exchange between alveoli and blood, there are some adaptations have in the alveoli. Those are thin and moistured wall of the alveoli, and the presence of blood capillaries network around the alveoli, and the presence of large number of alveoli sacs. Those are the adaptations of the alveoli wall or respiratory surface of human to efficient gas exchange occur. The last step of the respiration is cellular respiration. This one, the cellular respiration means process of oxidation of simple foods to provide energy for biological activities within living cell. If I read again, the cellular respiration means the process of oxidation of simple foods to produce energy for biological activities within living cell. That means process of producing energy from simple organic molecules. We already know that the simple organic molecules that provide energy is glucose. This one is react with oxygen and produce carbon dioxide, water and energy. This energy is produced as ATP. If I balance this equation, we have to take 6 oxygen molecule, and as a result of this 6 carbon dioxide and 6 water molecules are produced. In here you have to mention ATP. It is the energy carrier. We can consider as ATP as an storaging component and as an energy carrier, and also as a component that release the energy. This ATP is a type of nucleotide. The cellular respiration can be done as aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. If the oxygen concentration is higher or oxygen is available, organisms do aerobic respiration. If the oxygen concentration is lower or without oxygen, the organisms do anaerobic respiration. There are simple differences between aerobic and anaerobic. Aerobic is done when the oxygen is present, when anaerobic is done when the oxygen is absent. In the aerobic respiration, you can see glucose molecule undergoes complete oxidation. Complete oxidation is happen when we are doing aerobic respiration. In the anaerobic respiration, the oxygen molecules undergo incomplete oxidation. And also in aerobic respiration, you can see large number of ATP can produce, and the anaerobic respiration less number of ATP is produced. That means lower energy is produced. The anaerobic respiration of the plant, and both anaerobic respiration is done by both plants and animals. When the animals do anaerobic respiration, they produce lactic acid and little amount of energy. When the plants do anaerobic respiration, the glucose produce ethanol, carbon dioxide and energy as a product. In here we are going to discuss the last part, diseases associated with the respiratory system. There are some diseases. First one is common cold. For the reason for the common cold is virus. When having the common cold, you can have a runny nose, cough and sneezing, headache as the symptoms. The asthma is the reason of entering dust particles, sawdust or pollen to the respiratory surface. As a result of entering these particles, inflammation occurs in the respiratory surface, in the respiratory system. So that bronchitis get inflamed. The pneumonia is the reason of the causative agent bacteria or virus, and the tuberculosis reason for the entering bacterium to the respiratory surface. When we are suffering tuberculosis, you will have tiredness, loss of appetite, weight loss, release of blood during coughing and the fever as the symptoms. And silicosis, bronchitis and the asbestosis also can be considered as the diseases associated with the respiratory system. Those are the things that we have to learn about in the respiratory process. So let's meet from other process from my next video. Until then, goodbye.